The Saga, Part 1, Episode 1. The Great War of Nascaban. The land of Nascaban is a verdant paradise, a sea of trees and lakes, and no one is left wanting or starving. Nascaban is home to many peoples, of many races, views, religions, and creeds. But it was once home to the great and honorable Nascaban clan, a powerful clan known for their immense ocular powers, impressive combat skills, and mastery over chakra. A powerful force that can sprout mountains, fill valleys with seas of water, and collapse the heavens. Among these once great people, a man dwelt. A man that stood out, even among his peers, and was once a great Nascaban clan member. Now, the last one. The lion's mane has been cut, and now shivers in the cold. The man now spends his days wandering the land, searching for his purpose. A hard task, especially for a man like him. He is no longer the ghost of the Nascaban. He is the pervy sage. He is Aaron. Among the many denizens of Nascaban, there was one man. He serves as a respected member of his community, a loving husband, a good man. Though none know of his heritage or his past to him, it's best kept that way. This man only knows a simple life. He provides for his wife Isolde, and their love is built by years of effort. Set in stone, this man is Bradley, the man of Brightmate, the lowlander. Once a name used to mock and laugh at those hailing from the favelas and slums, now a badge of honor. He represents his land well, though never ever wishes to return. The sage and lowlander have had their fates intertwined since the moment they were born, though they never knew. But fate, and I suppose life in general, has a funny way of making things happen, and in some ways, not funny at all. Bradley and his wife ate food and drank wine by Nascaban's hillside, overlooking its myriad rolling hills and little rivers. The night was young, and the many stars shone brightly throughout the cosmos. What about that one? Isolde asks, pointing out towards the Ryloth system. Bradley's gaze shifts towards where his wife points, and smiles. Yeah, I've been there too. Ryloth is beautiful this time of year. His tone warm, his love deep for her, and hers of him. She playfully giggles and looks back to the system. You'll have to take me there one day, my love, Isolde mutters. Her mood softened by the Kezan wine she sips. That I shall. I'll take you anywhere as long as you let me follow. The lowlander says, staring into his wife's big hazel eyes, his face being reflected back. She looks up once more and points to the left. How about that one? Don't tell me you've gone that far. She playfully mocks. That system is home to Titan, a cold and dark planet, once home to Josh, the Dark One, before it collapsed. They say his planet dying drove him mad, Bradley whispers out, attempting to frighten his spouse. She shivers and giggles once more. What happened to him? Isolde asks, her head tilting and her auburn hair falling in front of her face, making her look adorably goofy. There are many theories. People say he's long dead, and others say he is still out there, sleeping among the stars, Bradley answers, once more in an attempt to scare his wife. What about? Her voice is swept from her as the ground shakes and the sun rises. A crimson hue dots the horizon. Upon it, 4 silhouettes lay. The middle shape points out with a long, curved sword, and from behind them comes an army that charges the peaceful land, laying it to waste. Bradley turns to his wife, a well of emotions coursing through her face. He motions for her to run. She hesitates but runs into the already crumbling city. The lowlander closes his eyes and clenches his fists. He had not felt the roar of warfare for years. His past always seems to haunt him. He has fought and crawled and battled all his life. By what right does he have to change it? Bradley smiles and summons the gleaming blade of the One. As if asleep, it glows to life once more, and he charges into the fray. Smoke billowed high from the horizon as Aaron marched, his sandals making the signature clap as he makes his footfalls. His calm demeanor turned sour. He kneels down and takes in his surroundings. Natural chakra flows into him. Without a moment's delay, he hears all, the roars of war and the screams of terror. Aaron does not waste time. He sprints towards the land of Nascaban and draws his katana sword, leaping from tree to tree, making miles shorten by the minute. The lowlander danced between each foe, slashing and cleaving, his blade simply a blur. Soon enough he was surrounded, the grunts fearing this mysterious man and not taking any more chances. Well, fight me, the lowlander shouts, vitriol in every word that came out from betwixt his teeth. A scream from behind him betrayed his focus, the voice frighteningly familiar. Turning around, he gazed upon Isolde. His wife and the love of his life knelt before a great dog with dark fur, her clothes rent from her body and her delicate features beaten from her. This was Haka T-Dog, the Dark Lord. He takes what he pleases and kills those who resist. Protected by his 4 horsemen, only the mad or foolish fight him. My men have already spoiled her. Such a beautiful woman laid low can only be dealt with one way. Bradley roars in anger. He is too late. With death, Haka shouts before slicing her throat. Isolde drowns in her own blood, never taking her eyes from her husband. The lowlander rushes forward with his blade pointed towards the murderer of his love, but the building behind collapses upon him, pulled by some dark power. The sage rushes closer and closer, the sound of clashing steel and sparks closer still. As Aaron runs, a crowd of civilians get cut down by a whirling dervish. The man standing there is none other than Osama bin Laden. Finally, someone who isn't some weakling to kill, bin Laden screams in anger. Aaron takes his stance and parries each blow. In a brief exchange, he had split open the man from waist to throat. The terrorist collapses into a gurgling heap. The sage turns to see one of legend, Haka, turning away from a seemingly collapsed house. The sage leaps at the Dark One with the speed of a toad, but Haka lifted his hand and threw Aaron to the side. He flies back, getting impaled on a piece of stray rebar, pain rippling throughout his body. It is nothing serious, but an injury of that caliber is always painful. Bradley awakens. With all his strength, he pushes the rubble from himself to see that Haka is already upon him. He had heard a clash of blades from an unknown person in the distance. Perhaps this is why he is not already dead. Someone had distracted Haka. The Dark Lord grasped the lowlander by his head, pouring emotions of pain and suffering into his mind, attempting to break him. Yet Haka paused. Out of nowhere, a katana flies towards him, though it is for naught, as he catches the blade, breaking it into pieces. Bradley looks over, peering through the smoke and dust and looking upon someone who wore the clothes of a man that had seen battle many a time. His gi had ripped sleeves, patches sewn into it and covered in stains of red and mud. The headband upon his head bore a strange symbol, a typical garb of someone of the Nazaki clan, but as if his garb has not already betrayed his past. His glowing red eyes did. Inside the iris of the eyes there were 3 tomoi, the ocular prowess known as the Sharingan. It grants untold speed, sight, and the ability to see energy and chakra at a microscopic level. This is no ordinary man. Did you really think that would stop me? Haka taunts, the crumbled shards of steel falling to the floor. Aaron takes 2 throwing knives from his pouch. The sage rears back with all his remaining strength and hurls them, one far into the distance, another in the direction of Haka. Predictably, the dog catches the kunai with his free hand, holding in a laugh. What is the... Before Haka can complete his sentence, the sage instantly transmits over to him at insanely high speed, uppercutting the hound into the air. Aaron then grabs the lowlander and throws a singular hand sign, making chakra flow between the 2 of them, and Aaron shouts, "Flying Raijin Jutsu!" And suddenly they are teleported into the epicenter of the collapsed town. The lowlander and sage look upon each other. The pain in Bradley's eyes give Aaron a new plan to fulfill. Perhaps he is the one the sage has sought, the one who will help accomplish his goals. The lowlander struggles to stand. His brow still curled in anger, he looks to Aaron. "Teleportation was never my forte, thank you." The sage nods and takes in his surroundings. His Sharingan dart from either direction at blinding speed, the red glow leaving a slight afterimage. "Who are you?" Bradley asks. This stranger is clearly not from around here, or has not been here for quite some time. "I am a traveler, pilgrim, sage, outcast, and freak. Though most people who know me, Aaron, I'm here to help." The sage answers in riddles, of course, as is his wont. "Are you a Nazaki? I thought they were all dead." "I am the last one," the sage answers. "Does that make you think less of me?" "No, I was just curious. More a rhetorical question than anything," Bradley replies. "Your name?" Aaron asks. "Bradley," he answers. The sage peers into Bradley's eyes, trying to gauge his feelings, but the lowlander turns away, uncomfortable. "What happened here?" Aaron asks, the beautiful homeland from his memories falling apart around him. "Haka. He came, killed so many. My wife." Bradley mumbles out as his pain takes hold. Grief can collapse a man's resolve sure as steel. The lowlander falls to his knees, pain covering his body. He lets out a scream of primal rage as Aaron looks on. Such pain is all too familiar. Before any more time can be spent, out from the distance, the marching, roaring stomp of an approaching army that is helmed by the horsemen of Haka. Bradley, you may not know me, or even trust me, but the threat upon Nascaban is far more immediate. Fine, let's do this, Bradley shouts, the call of battle making him go into a sort of autopilot. They stand, and Bradley unsheathes his now damaged sword. That was the Saga, Part 1, Episode 1. New episodes to come eventually.